Merry Christmas! We are so excited about Christmas this year, but we know it's a little bit different. Normally on Sundays, we're gathering together in our worship center, but today, you're in your homes.
So no matter what you're doing, if you're surrounded by family, if you're in the kitchen making breakfast, if you're covered in wrapping paper, we hope that you will stop and stand and worship with us this morning.
Darkness, frozen light. Hey, Merry Christmas. Man, if you are sitting around in your living room or hanging out with your family, you've opened presents and maybe had a late night or early morning, but today we are here celebrating one of the greatest days of the year. A day that even our world as a whole sees as a magical, wonderful day, yet we know what it's really all about. And I want to take a minute with your family, just from my heart to yours, to share and make sure that we keep the main thing this morning together. So no matter where you are, hey, let's sit down for just a minute. We've just sang and celebrated what a holy night that was. And I want to read some of the Christmas story with you and think about this morning about God with us. What does that mean? Listen what happens. It says the birth of Jesus Christ came about this way in Matthew chapter 1, verse 18. After his mother Mary had been engaged to Joseph, it was discovered before they came together that she was pregnant from the Holy Spirit. So her husband Joseph, being a righteous man and not wanting to disgrace her publicly, decided to divorce her secretly. But after he had considered these things, an angel of the Lord appeared to him in a dream, saying, Joseph, son of David, don't be afraid to take Mary as your wife, because what has been conceived in her is from the Holy Spirit. She'll give birth to a son, and you are to name him Jesus, because he will save his people from their sins. Now all of this took place to fulfill what was spoken by the Lord through the prophet. See, the virgin will become pregnant and give birth to a son, and they will name him Emmanuel, which is translated, God is with us. You know, names are a big deal. Picking a name can be stressful. How we think about a name is important. It's what we're going to be called our whole life, or even maybe picked on our whole life, right? Names are a big deal. And yet, in this moment, in the birth of Christ, Matthew takes a minute to record why his name is so important. Emmanuel, it means God with us. He's talking about Isaiah. In Isaiah chapter 7, there's this king, right? Story time. Ahaz is scared. I mean, he's looking around and he's going, oh no, like we're about to be defeated. And we need help, and I don't know where my help's going to come from. We need protection. And so Assyria is like, oh man, we got you, bro. We will take care of you. For a small one-time fee, we will be your protectors. But the problem is that Assyria, man, they didn't worship God. Man, they didn't honor the Lord. And so God raises up Isaiah. And when he raises up Isaiah, he says, Isaiah, I want you to go, and I want you to tell Ahaz that I'm with them, and then ask him what sign he wants. So, you see this kind of conversation in chapter 7. And he says, I don't want to test the Lord. Ahaz says, I don't need a sign. I don't want to test the Lord in this. The problem is, man, he had already made this promise with Assyria. And in this passage, right in the middle of the context of this moment, God says, nope, I'm going to give you a sign. And this is what your sign is going to be. A virgin is going to give birth to a child, and his name is going to be Emmanuel. And Emmanuel is translated God with us. And he was telling Ahaz and the people of God in that moment, hey, you don't have to turn to this wicked people. You don't have to be afraid of all the turmoil and all the craziness that's going on around you. I'm showing you, I'm with you. I will be with my people. I will be your protector. And this baby was born, and his name was Emmanuel, and it showed in all the things that God said that were going to happen, they did happen. Now, fast forward all of this. The way it was written in Isaiah chapter 7, the language, it is also to show you that he wasn't only talking about what was going to happen in that moment. He was also sharing that to say that this is a promise of something that's going to come in the future. And in Matthew, he reminds us that day, all these things that have happened, they happened to prove all that God was saying was going to happen. It did happen. And today we can still rest in that truth. The meaning of Emmanuel, God with us, is to show us that he cares for us. He knows the turmoil. He knows the affliction of sin. He knows our hurt. He knows our struggles. So as you look around and you look at your family, and the reality is today is awesome. Man, we love Christmas. It is this magical moment. Yet deep down in our heart, though, we still know that there are issues going on in the world. Things aren't right. We look around and there's problems and hurt and dysfunction and turmoil. Yet here we have God reminding us, hey, I'm with you. I love you. And just like I told Ahaz, I'm going to be there with you. I'm telling you right now, I'm going to be here with you. And I proved it in this. There was a virgin who gave birth to a child, and his name is Emmanuel, Jesus. God with us. Now, some of you are like, okay, hang on. Like, what's his name? Is it Jesus or Emmanuel? Well, later on in Isaiah chapter 9, he gives this famous passage where he says, he shall be called Wonderful Counselor, Mighty God, Prince of Peace, Everlasting Father. The government will be upon his shoulders. And so you're like, okay, hang on. Well, what is his name? His name is not Wonderful Counselor. His name is not Mighty God. It's not each one of those things. He doesn't have 15 names. Those things were describing the character that he was going to have. So the character that he has is he is Mighty God. The character that he has is Emmanuel, like God with us. God is not this God who's like distant. He's God who's present with us. Hey, we gave presents because we love our family, and God's present and gift to us is to step into our hurt, into our pain, into our suffering, into our difficulty. He left heaven and stepped into humanity. So the message of Jesus is that he loved us so much that he came and dwelt among us. God is with us. It's not only the message, it moves us to think through our ministry with him and who he is. If God came for us, we're going to see this even in the story. These shepherds are going to hear about Jesus, and they're going to run and see the baby in swaddling clothes. And then it says immediately they had to go and tell everybody. So if the message of Jesus is that God dwelt among us and with us, that just like God showed himself faithful in Isaiah 7, God has shown himself faithful now, and that he came, born of a virgin, God himself miraculously came for us, died in our place, and rose from the dead. Then we also have something to go and tell today. Hey, look, as you're sitting with your family, and we are enjoying Christmas the best we possibly can. There's no greater way for us to enjoy Christmas than to stop and to look one another in the face and remind each other of the greatest message that has ever been delivered, is that God loved me so much that he dwelt among us. He stepped into humanity and the brokenness of this sinful place. He came for me. And he's God is with us. He's Emmanuel. Oh, that's the ministry that we've got. But if I could close our time out this morning with your family, I just want to close it this way. As we think about who God is and what he has done, it just leads to this unbelievable, beautiful majesty when we look at who he is. As a kid, I would always look under the Christmas tree and try to find that one box that I kind of was like, maybe that's mine. And you begin to imagine in your mind what's in that box. You're looking at the shape, you're looking at the form, and you're like, oh, I hope it's this, or I hope it's that. And in your mind, you see it and you're thinking, oh man, I wonder what is there. Man, God opened himself up to you and I that we could fully see who he is. He showed the beauty of his present in that he came for us and said, I'm with you. This is who I am. And when we see God for who he is, man, it's majestic. It is beautiful. Are you in love with Christ because of who he is and what he's done? He is God with us. He loves us. He cares for us. So today, we don't have to concede our heart to have relations and safety with things outside of him. Maybe today you have found yourself giving your heart and your mind to something outside of God himself. And today is just a reminder, you know what? God is faithful. He is more than enough. He is good. He is with us. He came for me and he loves me. And today I'm going to celebrate him this way. Hey, as a family, I pray that you will see his majesty and enjoy him forever. Hey, Merry Christmas. God bless you. As we close our time out today, I'm praying for your family. As we think through what God has done, man, we're looking forward to what God is going to do. So as we end our time today, man, look forward with us as we think about 2023, and let's ask God to move as we share God who came for us, God who's with us, and God who is in us is going to launch us into a year where we get to continue to partner with him to make his name known. Merry Christmas. Let's go 2023.
As we end this year strong in every aspect of our ministry, we're looking ahead to how the Spirit will continue to move through life at the Hills. Our desire is that you join us in our pursuit of our city. So for those of you who have been a part of Life at the Hills for years, or maybe even just 1 year, we're asking that you pray through 5 things with us: missional unity, a need for laborers, to be a sending church, a need for resources, and then giving God our best. And for those of you who are new to Life at the Hills, we're incredibly excited to hit the New Year strong in 2023. On January 29th, we have Regroup. And so for us, with Life at the Hills, we want people to get plugged into genuine community where they can grow deeper in their relationship with God. And so through Regroup, we have a chance for you to find your place in our D groups. Also on January 29th is our guest luncheon. And our guest lunch is a time for you to meet our pastoral team and our staff and find out more about what it means to be a part of this church community. And then on February 5th, we have our Connect class. This is a great time for you to walk through what it means to be a part of Shirley Hills Baptist Church with our Connections pastor, Jason Sykes, as he walks through our core beliefs and our values here at Life at the Hills. Lastly, on February 26th, we have our next Baptism Sunday. So if you've made the decision to follow Jesus, or if you have questions about what it means to be baptized, we would love to connect with you. So please reach out to us as we get prepared for that day on February 26th. We are incredibly excited about this new year. As we move into 2023, we just want you to partner with us and join us as we go after our city together. Have a great day.